Good morning. I realized this morning that, how hard it is for me to really feel sadness. Yeah, I realize how hard it is for me to really feel sadness because to really feel sad, like, for me, I really have to consciously slow down, is what I'm seeing today. Like, I woke up this morning and just instantly, reached for pornography and, like, I did some deeper work because I wanted to see, okay, what's underneath all that? What's underneath this pull, right? Like, and upon reflecting on it, looking through just how I was feeling and going through some questions, I realized, this feeling I feel, like this pornography, like underneath like, the sexual just drive. Like, I feel this feeling where it's around my stomach, my gut region. So, like, there's something underneath there. And just sitting with it this morning, it's like I feel like it's like this longing, it's this sadness, and like you don't really have the space to really feel sadness, right? Like you can you can fill up your entire day without ever really feeling sad. Like, from the moment you wake up, like getting on the phone or yeah, I didn't sleep well. If you can look at my face, you can tell I did not sleep well last night. But a lot of the times we don't have to really feel sadness because with the phone and just this influx of information and the the frequency, the speed that we live at, I think it would be frequency. We live at such a high pace that it's really hard to feel something like sadness, And this morning, like, a song came to me when I was feeling into the sadness, and I was probably around 4 or 5. It was a little bit before I started kindergarten, I believe. So, around that age, there's this song. It's called Your Love, and it's Josie's on a vacation far away, gonna down to talk it over. So many things that I wanna say. You know I like my girls a little bit older. I don't wanna lose your love tonight. And I remember hearing that song when I was very young, and it made me so sad. And meanwhile, like, my mom was pulling weeds, just in a good mood, and like, my dad was doing whatever he's doing. And it's like all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, I felt like my mood just completely do a 180 when I heard this song, like, and it stopped me in my tracks when I was listening to the lyrics, and I was like, man, this is a really sad song right now. But when I looked around, like, I was the only one who was really feeling this way. And it's really hard to be with my own sadness because, like, well, it's not too fun to feel sad, right? It's not. I know this isn't the best video to probably listen to or watch, you know? But yeah, even experiencing this right now, this sadness, and like when I look around and I'm just looking at the trees and everything, it's like I feel really different right now, you know? Like everything looks a little different. Like I'm not sure if I know how to describe it, but like literally right now, I'm looking at these pine trees over here, and it's like they seem different. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, sadness. One of the most frustrating things for me has been not being able to feel like I really am in control. Like, a lot of the times I've just felt like emotions have just been sweeping me off my feet, like this last year. Like, one of my great mentors helped me really unlock a lot of awareness around emotion. But, you know, it's also been very destabilizing to feel this way at times. Like, man. And, you know, I still believe this to be true, is that, like, for me, the number one thing that... I'll wait for this plane to pass. The number one thing that I think is, like, probably my biggest area for growth is around pornography. Like, I seriously believe, like, if I was able to uncover, like, how to deal with all of the underlying things beneath pornography, like, I'd like to see where that would put me. I'd like to see where I'd be in my life if I was able to really have healthy discipline around that. If I was really able to leave that behind, you know? Or maybe not leave that behind is the right word, but, like, work out whatever is going on underneath, like, the pornography for me, you know? Because, man, I don't know why, but I feel like, yeah, that would just... it would change a lot of things for me. And I spent, like, 2 months away from it. From pornography, from masturbation. And it was a very interesting time. Like, I was able to just feel a little different at times, you know? But underneath all of it, there was still, like, unresolved tension, unresolved emotions, unresolved feeling. And I was kind of just suppressing. I don't know if suppressing is even the right word. I feel like it's a little overused. It was like, I was doing it out of sheer will, but it wasn't a... it wasn't a sustainable practice the way I was doing it. Yeah, and this still remains to be like one of my, I would say, largest struggles because like it's all emotional. Like it's all emotional. Even the world as I experience it is emotional. It's not. It's definitely not material, right? And what I mean by that is, I've had nothing and been extremely happy. I've had like I've had like what looks like an outside on the great life, and I've been extremely sad and torn up, you know? Like for me, I would say the world is just largely emotional, and like that's the way I truly experience it. And it's probably one of the only things that really matters for me, honestly. Like is following that kind of soul direction. Like where I how do I say this? When I dropped out of college, it was like I was ready to give up everything. I was ready to sacrifice like everything that had been given to me, And look, you can see this in the background. I live in a nice house, right? I have wealthy parents. Like not like what's it called? Trust fund. I don't have trust fund wealth, but I had college paid for. I could have had a good job. Like naturally, I'm just good at figuring things out. Like school came very easy for me, you know? Like I probably could have had a good job by now if I would have stayed in school. But like in school, I was just so angry. I was just so unhappy, right? Like on paper, I had everything that I thought I should have, right? Like, and I was still unhappy, or I'd had everything that I thought I should have at that age, and I was still unhappy, right? Like, in high school, I had friends, I was popular, like, I had my health, I was in good shape, like, I was making good grades, I was, you know, working hard and making good money at the farmer's market, and I had good money saved up, and like I just I was just still so unsatisfied, man. Like everybody telling me, man, you're one step ahead of the curve. You're making all the right moves, Zach. You're making all the right moves. But it started to feel like that wasn't true. And that was probably the most significant thing I ever did in my life, right? Is at 20, I dropped out and I drove across the country, man. I drove to Texas. It was the first time I felt like I actually started my life. Like, because from then, like, it was an initiation process, right? Where, like, I was seeing a lot of problems, right? AI, AI is coming along. The jobs, college just does not feel right. Like, the problems I'm solving in college, like, why am I spending money on this? Why am I going along with this, right? And I kept asking myself that question every day. Why am I going along with this? Well, it's easy. I'm getting it paid for. I can go make good money. I can have a good life. And then that question just kept going on with me. Why am I going along with this every day? Why am I going along with this? Like, is this the kind of person I am? Just somebody who just goes along with this thing and never really actually has a backbone in their life? Is this who I am? Just gonna say yes, sir, and keep pushing along? Is this who I am? And, like, for me to drop out, to stand up to my parents, like, it almost felt like I didn't have a choice, right? Like, these are the people who, at least for me, and probably most people, I'd say you look up to appeasing, right? Looking for approval. You look to them for your sense of direction. What now, Dad? What now, Mom? Right? And I dropped out, man. And it wasn't in my conscious choice even. It was just like I was getting headaches every day. Like, I remember I was just getting headaches every day. Like, just hitting me in the head. It was like somebody was like right somewhere within here in my head, and they were on the inside of this wall right here on my forehead, and they were just going pow, 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 just hitting me, just hitting, boom, 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 just clocking me in the head every day, and I was just ooh, do, boom. And it was one of the weirdest experiences to have that. Just somebody, boom, boom, just hitting on my head. And I was like, man, I can't make this go away. Like, so it wasn't even in my choice to really drop out, right? Like, it was like, well, this is what this is telling me, right? And if I don't go and drop out, I'm never going to let go of this frustration, right? So I was like, okay, well, I'll give up my whole entire life, right? That's what it felt like, man. I was like, I'm going to give up my whole entire life. The whole entire life I'd been thinking about for the last couple of years. Since I was like, 17 or 16, or I don't know. And that's for me, like that's a long time. Like I'm 22 right now, so like what I've been thinking about having the like money, having all this money and having nice cars and having a nice house and being able to find like have freedom, right? Like it's very funny. Like my dad, it was always, oh, once you get to college, you'll have your freedom. Oh, once you get out of college, you'll have a job, you'll have money, and then you can actually start kind of doing your own things. And I was just, it's like, what the fuck, right? Like, I'm here in college, and I remember in high school, I looked at college. College was going to be the promised land. It was my promised land, man. I thought it was going to be like Harry Potter or Animal House or some shit, where I'm with all my friends, I'm hanging out, we're having a good time, we're working towards getting better and like becoming wizards or becoming really good at our craft and also having a good time. And yet I got there and it was the most isolated I'd ever been. It was the most isolated I'd ever been in my life. And I went through pain after pain. Like, I went to 4 different colleges, man, within, like 2 years, right? Like every semester I was like, man, this isn't working. All right, Zach, go to the next one. Try this college, try this major. And it's like, you know what? When does this just end, right? When does this ever end? When does this end? Like, never once did one of my parents was like, maybe it's not for you, right? It's like, try the next one, right? Even still today, like, my parents, I don't hold this against them, but, if I told them I was going to college today, they'd be very happy. That's just crazy, right? Like, I went through the most destabilizing time in my life, and it's like I had nobody to witness it. So I told my friend this, I believe 2 days ago. We were talking, and I said, the most I said the feeling that has driven me the most over the past 3 years, if I was to put it into one word, it's misunderstanding. It's misunderstanding. Like, and I say that in a way like feeling misunderstood, feeling just whatever I do is just not right. Whatever I do is not right. I am not right. And so I went on this journey. I was going to say, okay, nobody knows what's going on. Nobody knows what to do. Nobody's giving me answers that seem to feel right to me. When I'm in college, nobody's giving me the answers that feel right. No, and it's like, that made me so upset. Because I said, well, I wish it was another way. I wish somebody could help me through this. But it looks like nobody has the answers. So I gotta figure this shit out myself, right? Because none of my friends had the answer. None of my elders, parents, teachers had the answer. And I was like, wherever I look, nobody has the answer. Nobody has the right answer for me. Well, what does that mean? Well, I have to figure it out on my own, man. Damn. And like, when I came to that realization, I realized like, okay, this is probably going to be a long road for you, my friend. And when I lived in my SUV, I tried out so many different things, so many different identities, so many trying to fit into a certain way of being or certain mold, right? Because my theory was, okay, well, I've tried all the colleges, it doesn't work. I've tried all the majors, it doesn't work. Or at least the ones that make sense, right? You know, I wasn't going to go do gender studies or something crazy like that. But I was like, okay, well, I will try out every single thing while I'm living in my SUV. I'm going to try out every single job, every single startup, every single hobby. And eventually, one of them will stick with me. Is it going to take a while? Yes. Is it going to suck? Absolutely. Probably it is. It's probably going to just be kind of sucky, because it's like, well, I'm going to take all of my how would I say this? I'm just throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. It's like, I've got 100 objects in my room. I don't know which ones are sticky. I'm blindfolded. Let's just throw this whole entire table at the wall, and maybe one of the things will stick against the wall. So it was just pure trial and error, because I'd finally admitted, okay, I don't know anything. I don't know what I like. I don't know who I am. So, well, it's time to figure it out. And the only way for me to figure it out is just through throwing everything at the wall, man. Oh. Eventually, yeah. I got tired of that. But eventually, like, I was like, man, I've tried everything that I thought was interesting and it's not working. So, like, about a little over a year ago, I remember what happened was I was sitting in the parking lot of the library, and it was a cold February day. It was like coming down like freezing rain, and I was wet. And this was probably like the third or fourth location I'd been living at in my vehicle. And I remember my pants were soaked, and I was sitting in my car, and I had the heat on. I was playing this video game on my phone, and my whole entire back seat was just filled with dirty clothes and like canned food that was just opened, and just chaos. And I was like, what am I fucking doing? What am I doing here, right? What am I doing sitting in the cold in the library parking lot playing a video game on my phone? I'm just gonna drive home. And I drove home and I was just like, okay, I give up. I give up. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go, but I tried everything I could. So I'm just going to give up, and, well, at least I can't say that I didn't try, right? I tried. So yeah, I sat there, and I know this is a long video, so I'd like to try to wrap this up very soon. I sat there, and just through this year of reflection, getting to talk to a bunch of wonderful people online that I've been very blessed to be able to interact with. Like, I remember my friend a year ago, he said, what do you want to do? And I was like, connection, right? Like, what do you know what it is maybe that you want to bring into this world? And we're in this deep meditation sort of internal family sessions. And I remember it was connection. And I look back on this, and, my friend yesterday, he said, probably if the wound is misunderstanding, then the gift might be connection. So I believe that's why I'm here right now. That's why I'm sitting out here, why I'm recording this video. That, like, no one might see this, right? It might be uploaded and no one might see this, but, like, through being misunderstood in so many ways, like, I've realized, like, I'm very empathetic with people. Like, it's come to me very much that, like, I can see just, I can see things. That is a loud bird. Interrupting my video, mate. I'm trying to wrap up. But, I can see that through, like, misunderstanding and going through a lot of just darker kind of experiences. I feel like it's not easy. It's like I can meet people where they're at, right? Like, through misunderstanding, I have gained understanding about, understanding what people are going through, understanding where you're at, right? Like, when you've seen yourself in a lot of dark places, It makes it easier for me to understand where people are at, what you're going through, right? Like, I might not be able to give you all the answers, right? But I can understand where you're at, even if you know, have done a lot of things you're not proud of. You've been in places that you felt a lot of shame in, like where you don't want anybody to see you, where you like felt like you've had to hide yourself, right? Like, I felt that way my whole life, so I feel like, you know, that there's a gift there for me, and I believe that's what I really want to bring into the world, is just using that gift of understanding. And I'm not sure how it'll take form, but this will be a very interesting year for me, and I'm very excited. I'm very excited about the future. So, if this reaches anybody, the divine in me sees the divine in you, my friend. Namaste, my friends.